anyways.
Well, sure. Why not? Most people would do that.
Got to cash in somehow, right?
Yeah.
House trading psychologist. So if you'd like to ask any questions, please post them there in the tab, and we will more than happily get them answered for you. Bring you down so you're in frame, Dr. Katz. There you go.
Okay,
Fit
nicely done.
nice in there. You just don't get the bull or the bear like me and Peter
Yeah,
have
well.
right now. So.
Well, I don't have it
Apologize
either,
for
Dr.
that.
Katz, so don't
Yeah,
feel
okay,
bad.
Brian. Well, we're flying solo.
Exactly.
So, before we get started, members, feel free to post your questions in there. We'll knock out some of the announcements and everything right off the bat because we got an exciting after-hours earnings. We got Tesla. We got Microsoft. We got Chipotle. Another one in there I'm interested on is this Las Vegas Sand Corp. I want to kind of see what the casinos are doing for some long-term investments that I have. And then, Peter, you mentioned CSX as a good indicator. I didn't quite get all of that. Which one was that on?
Yeah, CSX is a railway, so it's sometimes it gives you. I just like the sort of gives me an idea transportation-wise where things are going. It, generally, if they've had a good quarter, that means shipments are up, and anyways, I just like to see CSX. I'm usually the first one to report as well. So
Yeah, so nice. And then tomorrow morning, what we got, I know there's going to be some interest in this. We got Twitter, Love, American Airlines, which is a favorite here in the room to trade, and AT&T. So, Peter, you may get a trade on T. I know you like trading that after the earnings.
Yeah, I had a good trade on it last quarter, I think. But yeah, it's about the only time I traded was around earnings, like a lot of stuff.
So I like the airlines. If you look at their expected growth, it's all 80 and 90% decrease in their thing. So we got that. And then we'll quickly knock out the member trade of the day today. That way we can focus with Dr. Katz and into earnings so we don't cut off any of that. So if there's any doubt about it, I'm pretty sure everybody knew that the trade of the day was going to be somebody that traded AMD. So we got Taylor Trades got in on AMD down at 57.68 today on a pullback. He got in, had a support line at 57.68, and then just partialed all the way up, and he eventually got out around 60.50 after it made that new high and started to roll over. So that is one heck of a trade. If you know AMD, it typically only moves 50 cents to $1, and it was a beast today. Nothing looking back on it. So excellent trade to Taylor Trades out there. There was some other great AMD trades out there as well. Some people, I know Rich H out there got in very early as well, but he ran out of shares about $58 or so. And then there was some other members that were like Andrew that got in up around that 59 and 60 as it was popping through that. So, but Taylor here, he got the whole move. So he wins the trade of the day for everybody out there on YouTube, or for everybody that's here in the room. If you want to submit again, remember that these are live trades that you are submitting for this. Mark it up as Taylor did there, kind of give us an explanation of what's going on. And then tag at Barebold Traders, at MikeB_BBT, and at NormBBT. Then go ahead and use the hashtag BBT family. These are the areas that we check because then we know that you are submitting for the contest. Then on Friday, we'll knock out the winner of the 4 daily winners, and they'll get a prize of about $100. So, and here we go. And with that being said, we'll hit back to, hey Peter, do you mind checking to see if you can hear my audio in YouTube?
I don't mind at all.
Thank you. For whatever reason.
Yep, I can hear you. Can hear you just fine.
Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure. I knew I've been having some issues here and there, so with the audio, just wanted to make sure I was good. So now that we're back, Dr. Katz, I haven't really been searching the tab. Anybody see any questions that were popping up? And bring Dr. Katz back on camera for us. I'm sure our members have something.
They did. I think if you go back, the first one was here at. Hold on a sec. Lost it now.
As I'll start scrolling. Oh, I got to put the. I got a good one. I'll start it with my own personal question as we start to go.
331
All
from
right.
Addie is the first I see.
331
Yeah,
from
ahead.
Abby. Okay, we'll go back
Addie,
up there.
ADI.
Concentration. I definitely had an issue with concentration today, and to tell you the truth, I really don't know why. It just seemed like every time a trade was setting up, I had an alert on. I pulled Boeing up right before a high of a day break. I had NVIDIA up this afternoon for a break of the low of the day. And then as it was kind of setting up, getting there, I was watching it, but it was taking a little bit longer than I anticipated. I started getting distracted with that. Is that something subconsciously, or is it just my lack of being disciplined today and not staying on topic?
Well, I guess the first thing is you don't want to make too much of if it's only one incident. If you find yourself there's a pattern of like becoming distracted on multiple trades, I think the first thing you need to take a look at, and I would say this for any trader going into the day, is kind of do your own psychological monitoring self-check, about rest, eating properly, exercise, all the kind of lifestyle things, like are all those things in good shape? Because I think if there's any, it's like, oh man, I forgot to eat breakfast, or I got 4 hours of sleep last night. These are all, warning signs that it could be difficult to focus and concentrate over a sustained period of time. Sometimes the focus and concentration can be due to a certain symbol, right? I mean, if you've traded something and historically, let's say you've traded it poorly, there could be some anxiety or fears associated with that. So that's something to look into. And then you also just think, are there other things on your mind, personal issues, family issues, whatever, that might not be consciously first and foremost in your brain, but might be leading to some distraction. So if you find that happening, again, I think taking a little break, stepping away, trying to get yourself reset, and then you just may have to work a little harder to kind of stay locked in, and don't worry so much about that it's happening, but have constructive strategies to kind of stay more locked in. And it might also mean that you want to trade fewer things at a time, so you're not spreading your mind too thin, and that you on your to-do list maybe a fewer number of names so that you're not overloaded.
Yeah, I think today that it was just I had a big to-do list outside of trading as well. So that could be very distracting. Bad habit from my drill instructor days where I'd have 100 things on my plate and I could task multiply all the time, right? But you're never really good at one thing. You just do all 100 things mediocrely. I think that was my problem today. I was just trying to knock out whatever I could whenever time was available. So,
Mike, let me just say one thing about that I think is interesting, because there was a period years ago when multitasking became like the kind of the cool phrase. Like that was the real, hey man, I can multitask. Like, aren't you all that? And that became a big thing. And so people felt like if they could do 17 things at once, like they were more efficient, kind of smarter or whatever than the person who could do less. And then what we found out is that people were doing things like you said at a lower level. So it's I could do 17 things and they're all at a B minus C plus as opposed to doing 5 things at an A or A minus. And so I think for the most part, especially in trading, you're really going to want to start at least have your plate filled to what you feel you could have as a reasonable, load to look at. And then as you become more efficient, you may want to expand that, but don't think more is better. That is I won't include you in this, Peter, but that's a very American kind of a style that we always think that more is better, whether you're a runner, more miles, more this. And often it is just really the quality of what you do that is really most important and build from there.
Yeah, definitely. I learned that the hard way as well. I can do much better doing one thing than a whole bunch of things at one time. So we got OTC.
Good advice. Can I?
Oh, absolutely, Peter. Go ahead.
Just wanted to add to that, as someone who trades all day, I've also learned that to truly focus on the markets for the length of time they're open, it's hard. It's a lot harder of a mental activity because you're processing a lot of data. You're always managing it. It's hard to maintain that level of intense concentration for a really long period of time. So sometimes, some days you can be better at it than others, but on any day you probably need to take a break. Like I will actually regularly get up and walk away now because I've realized, it's like one of those, if you ever tried to work late at night and you realize you may be working at 2 a.m., but you're working at probably about 30% the pace that you were earlier, you're better off just to go to bed, get some sleep, and then wake up and start again fresh in the morning. I find trading's like that. Like I'm still sort of paying attention, but not fully. So if you find yourself slipping into that mode, and it's a great question, Mike, that you brought up, and everyone should be aware of this. Don't be afraid to pull yourself away. You are going to be you and your P&L will be better served probably by getting up and walking away and risking losing, missing whatever's going to happen, but to regain your focus, your ability to concentrate and come back fresh.
Yeah,
The law of
completely
diminishing
agree.
returns.
Yeah. And if you miss the trade, always walk away too, because then you're just going to get frustrated and revenge trade, which leads into the first question. It leads into a question by Adi here, Adi Isaac. How do you prevent overtrading?
Well, I think overtrading. The first thing is often overtrading is psychological, even though you may not think it is at the moment. So I think part of looking at overtrading, and it becomes very individual. And Mike and I had talked about this on a webinar way back. Is that a lot of one really needs to look at your relationship with money. That's an important thing. Overtrading can be triggered by a bunch of factors, and I think that's really important to take a look at that. It could be triggered by just kind of greed. It could be triggered by fear of missing out, loss. You want to really kind of look at your own personal triggers which lead to overtrading, and really try to be really honest with yourself. I mean, because overtrading invariably leads to losses, and losses, of course, are a part of the trading process. But you need to embrace the fact that our losses are part of it, and often overtrading comes because people want to be right and want to do well so badly that they kind of get themselves into placing too many trades. And again, I think it's important for people to separate out overtrading shouldn't be confused with active trading. It's not always the number of trades that you drink. Drink. That's funny. I was thinking because alcohol could be the same way. When I work with people with substance abuse, it's not normality. There's somebody who could drink six beers a day and be perfectly fine. And there's somebody who could drink 4 beers a day and it really could impact their lives in a way that, they could have an abuse issue. So it's really when the frequency and the quality of your trades become really more counterproductive to your bottom line. So I think it's important to look at some of the psychological triggers for yourself and seeing if that gives you some insight of how to kind of manage some of those issues to prevent you from doing that.
Yeah. And
I really
think
try not to drink my trades.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
That's a very good point, because I do think, especially for newer traders, understanding and defining the word overtrading is very important to understand, because one person that takes 20 trades in a day, that's taking 20 solid setups of their strategy, that's not overtrading. But somebody
Right.
that misses a trade on Boeing, if you can't tell, little regret there today, and then decides to try to catch it and gets in 2 or 3 times after that, those 2 or 3 bad trades is considered overtrading within that dynamic.
Yeah.
So
Because if you're settling for a subpar or low conviction setup and you're kind of making irrational trading decisions, like that's really kind of an indicator that it's, that you're overtrading, as opposed to what you said, Mike. It's not always the quantity.
yeah, definitely. OTC has a question. He's reading the good book by Mark Douglas, The Disciplined Trader. Commend you on that. I'm finishing that one up for my second read through as we speak. He has finally removed his P&L from his screen, so he's not focused on the P&L. But as he tries to trade and increase size, after consistency, he finds that his anxiety level increases, and then he forgets about all the good practice he had when he was trading better at a lower risk level. Is there any way to help him keep his composure during this time?
Okay, so this is the issue of how, when you've been trading at a certain size and you've made good, consistent trading decisions, how do you start the process of sizing up? Is that correct? Is that basically the question?
Yeah, that's basically
I think
the question.
one of the things that I would suggest you do is that you try to size up at very small incremental steps. The danger sometimes is that 2 things happen sometimes with traders early on. They're so focused on sizing up that they actually failed to pay attention significantly to the quality of the trade. And so now you're getting into 2x number of shares, for instance, or risk. And now it's a lower quality trade, and then you have a double negative whammy. I think the key of building up, size is do it small, gradually, and incrementally in a way that doesn't raise too much of the kind of anxiety and emotional volatility that can go along with that. Because if people try to do too much and then they have a couple losing trades and then they want to, again, go back home and get into bed and pull the covers over their head because it's just, so difficult. So I would say small baby steps, increasing your size after you've kind of had a sustained period of where you felt you've made good trading decisions on your current sizing.
Yeah, increasing size is going to be a difficult situation just for about anybody. I mean, you increase size by $1, your mind perceives it as uncertain, and it's going to increase your anxiety level. So you just gotta kind of work with it. Understand that you're going to have probably a little bit of a drawdown in your P&L, but manage it and just try to get your emotions and understand that you do have a solid strategy that will work. Before getting to the next question, I saw a couple comments in the chat. If you're looking for the morning shows, here goes Microsoft breaking the high of the day. But if you're looking for the morning watch list, if you look on the main screen there, just to the right of the SPY, you'll see the pre-market shows watch list, Carlos's secondary list, and also the low float. And then down at the bottom, for people wondering about earnings and the time of release, I put a couple of the big ones up there along with the time so that you can kind of see and be aware of that. That way you don't, if you miss us announcing it, that you can hear it. So the inevitable, back to you, Dr. Katz, the inevitable hope, right, that can be introduced into trading. You get into a trade, it's going in your favor, then it goes past your entry, and then it getting down near your stop loss, and that feeling of, or emotion of hope comes in. You're like, I'm hoping this will get back, so I'm going to let it go past my stop loss. And then you end up hoping just to recover your losses before the pain gets so enormous that you finally get out. What are some ways to combat that ugly feeling of hope when you're in a losing trade?
Well, I think the key here is you can have hope, but also be disciplined and stick to your rules. So something could get close to your stop, and it doesn't mean you have to let it blow by your stop. You could, adhere to your stop. The real importance of this is actually not in the moment so much that you've blown past your stop and that you've lost additional money. The real problem is that actually you've set rules and you've set up a plan. And by neglecting that, you kind of have said to yourself, I'm not disciplined. I'm not adhering to my plan and my strategy. And it really undermines your sense of self, and unintentionally, but that's what it does, undermines your sense of self and your confidence in your ability as a trader. Because part of this is staying disciplined to your plan, which means sometimes you could be hopeful, but you're going to say, okay, I'm going to take the loss, get out, and then, put my mind elsewhere. But you have to have a real commitment to the plan and the process, and not let emotion take over. So again, the real importance of doing that is really more the cumulative effect of not undermining your plan and your sense of yourself as a trader. And really, not being disciplined is really one of the hallmarks of traders who have a hard time being successful. If you are disciplined, there's no guarantee, but I've never seen a cowboy-ish like trader who just kind of, has hope all the time and is just willing to throw things against the wall and see how it goes, sustain any sustained gains over a period of time.
Yeah, definitely. And if you start falling into that trap, what are some ways to knock yourself back into the right mind, especially with COVID right now and being trapped in the house? Traders probably are spending more time in front of their computers than normal.
Well, I think sometimes this is something pre-trading day, your mental reminders and your routine prior to the day. You need to review that if this is a pattern, to remind yourself and have some strategies. If you see this going on, like Peter said earlier, you just get up, move away from the desk, kind of stop the bleeding and try to reset. And then you may even want to just have a post-it on your screen that, some cue words. It might be, adhere to your stops, or whatever cue words could be helpful. So I think, during your quiet moments at night, laying in your bed, you should kind of visualize stocks going against you and you adhering to your stops, and then your mind going on to the next trade, which could be successful. So I think you want to, practice some mental rehearsal, some visualization, but also have some very practical visual reminders for yourself on your screen, and also your mental reminders before the trading day starts.
Yeah, I love the mental reminders before the trading day goes. It goes into a member I posted about meditation and how often should you do it. I found recently, in the past couple weeks since I've been back from Oregon, just listening to a quick 5-minute meditation recording before the market opens, about 10 minutes, has really allowed me to calm down at the beginning. So Bobby has a
meditation. Let me just, one thing about the meditation thing is it's important is I think the key is to practice it, especially regularly. At the beginning, continuity and consistency is important. Meditation, much like relaxation exercises and breathing exercises, if you do it regularly in the beginning, you actually, I know it sounds funny, but you get good at it. You get locked into your focus and your concentration in shorter and shorter periods of time, which then makes it enormously helpful if you have to call upon that on yourself during particularly volatile, anxiety-provoking times during the markets, where people sometimes just step away and do like a quick a minute meditation or relaxation exercise. So in the beginning, you got to put the time and energy to kind of get good at it, so to speak, but practice in this way absolutely will shorten the time before you see the results, and then it's something you can implement throughout the trading day.
Yeah. Bobby here has got a good question. It'll probably be the last one as we're rolling up near the close, but I'll do one quick scroll through after this. Over the past 2 weeks, we're a community of traders, and we like helping everybody out. And we got, regardless of your experience level, how long you've been doing it, helping members out with the easiest questions. But Bobby's been helping members out with some of the psychology things, giving good advice. Then the following day ends up trading poorly. And his question is, should he stop giving the advice? Is that is that messing up his own psychology by talking about what somebody did poorly in the past?
It's hard for me to imagine that the two are correlated. I'm just wondering whether there's plenty of time where you've given advice and then you've had a good day the next day and you just don't even notice it. So I would want to do a little journaling to see if there really is a connection on that. And listen, sometimes we know, and those of us who are parents, but it's easier kind of, do what I say, not what I do. Sometimes it's easy to kind of give that advice to other people, and sometimes it's harder in the moment to practice, good practices, so to speak, for ourselves. So I would not rule out what you're doing. I mean, clearly giving that advice to other people, helps you feel better about yourself. It's a good community sense of belongingness. I would want to first monitor that somehow the two are connected. I would be surprised if they were, unless you're giving some advice that you don't feel is, well, never mind on that, because you're probably only giving advice that you think is helpful. So I'm not sure what to make of that. I would first see if there is a connection, unless you're not then doing your own homework on your own preparation because you're spending time giving advice to other people.
Yeah, excellent points. So I'll end with this, as it's a good way to end. We have a new trader, and their question is: should they follow Andrew and others initially and trade along the same stocks to get a hang of things, or is it better to start forming your own strategies from the beginning and not consider how Andrew and others trade?
I don't think there's any problem looking at what other successful traders are doing, but any good trader will tell you over time, you have to develop your own sense of what feels right for you, what trades you kind of have a natural inclination towards. So I don't think you could trade like somebody else. In the beginning, when you're learning, there's no harm, no foul in terms of trying to learn from what other people are doing. But I think in the back of your mind, you've got to find your own path and your own sets of trades and styles and approaches that actually fit you. And don't try to be like a mini me and somehow model yourself over somebody else, because that may not fit with your style or your personality. And I probably, if you guys all, Brian, Mike, and Peter probably would talk about their trading, they could all be successful, but they may trade in very different ways because they've trying to find trades that are in line with their own personality and what they're inclined to do. So you can learn from others, but don't set that up as the model necessarily. Yep.
And I'll caveat with this for you. There, as I pull up this thing as we go into the close-end wig, that's exactly what I'm talking about tonight in today's success webinar. So if you're a lifetime member, come join us. I'm going to talk about specifically taking somebody's strategy like Andrew's, Thor's, Peter's, Brian's, John's, and making it your own so you can define whether that strategy will fit your personality or not. So just like Dr. Katz said, you don't follow people. Don't try to imitate them. Make the strategy your own, but you utilize theirs to start with to give you a foundation of that. And I'll walk you through the process of how I do that as this afternoon. So with that, Dr. Katz, thank you very much for joining us today.
Okay.
It was a pleasure having you, and looking forward to seeing you on Monday on the pre-market show.
Okay. Take it easy.
You too, Dr.
Thanks,
Katz.
Dr.
Sir.
So here we go. We'll pull up the earnings that we got as we're going into the market close here in about 4 seconds.
Come on. Out.
Make sure you're out of the trade, Peter.
I wasn't trading Microsoft today. I was trading AMD. But all right. Anyways, we're good.
It didn't really do much into the close. It kind of just chopped for the last hour or so.
Yeah,
it did. I was expecting a move. I thought it was going to drop after the big run as some people cashed out, but it did not at all. So this could be a very interesting day tomorrow, I think, for AMD, but we'll see. right now, we got other interesting things going on.
Yep. So I got Microsoft and I got Tesla pulled up on the charts. Let me get Tesla in here on the level 2 on our montage so we can see what's going. Looks like Microsoft just plummeted. So, and Andrea, you're welcome for going over the earnings reviews so that you didn't take Twitter for a swing trade this afternoon. That might not have been the best thing out there.
Mike, you were said you were going to watch LVS because I think they announced, right?
Yes.
I noticed some news from Wynn. I don't know if you see Wynn Resorts, 337 and Benzinga News, that the Circus and Wynn Resorts are both reporting that they're going to be laying off employees. So we'll see what LVS says. But if it's consistent with that, that will not bode well for the.
Yeah, for the earnings.
That won't bode well for. Yeah.
It's interesting you say when, because that's the one that I'm really more interested in. But let's see. Microsoft's supposed to be before. I believe is before we have Tesla, so we'll look to see. I'm just listening for Benzinga.
We got a couple of earnings that have come out and companies we're not that interested in, but we'll keep watching.
So you got a beat on earnings on Microsoft.
There we go.
It's dropping a bit in the
Yeah, it's got to be more to that story then.
Yeah, definitely.
it hasn't moved that much.
So CSX was short. Well, that's interesting. I think that's interesting. All right.
Yeah, Microsoft's
CSI.
really not doing much right now.
They missed sales, CSX, but they beat earnings per share. Microsoft just kind of bouncing back and forth here at 207.
LVS is dropping a bit here. Oh, no, it's popping actually.
And now it's starting to sell off a little bit. I almost took that last minute trade on Microsoft too, Peter. But then I realized with the closing bell, I'm going to have to pull up a montage for myself. I had no way to get into it. I didn't have any place to put orders. I was like, oh, okay. Maybe I should not talk to Dr. Katz and try to trade Microsoft right now. I'd been waiting all day for Microsoft to make that run up again at 211.30. Microsoft should be interesting tomorrow.
It's really not moving. It's not moving much at all.
Got earnings, beat earnings and beat sales. So. And I see here on Benzinga, they're looking forward to adding, providing added info to the EU, which has probably got to do with some privacy stuff.
Interesting.
So it could be an interesting one. Waiting for Tesla to come out now. I should probably turn Squawk Guy on for me, huh? even though he's probably talking a lot right now.
Whirlpool WHR reporting 55 cents. The estimate was 87 cents for Whirlpool WHR.
So I know it's
Oh, Whirlpool just cranked up there.
yeah, Whirlpool just reported it sounded
Yeah, sounded like it not a bad.
KMI
SPY is-
Kinder Morgan reporting 17 cents
Oh,
on
came
revenue of 2.56 billion. 17 cents in line for KMI Kilo Michael India.
Equifax, since they report today, has one of my best and worst trades ever because I.
WHR Whirlpool, the adjusted number is $2.15. Ongoing earnings per share $2.15, which is not comparable with the estimate for Whirlpool WHR.
And I thought
Whiskey
this
Hotel
trading,
Romeo.
I'm gonna be a millionaire any moment now.
Why didn't I think of this before?
Yeah,
not
exactly.
much activity on Whirlpool, but
It's so easy.
Microsoft had a quick pop up back up above that 211.30 before coming back down.
So it's really erratic.
Yeah.
I now know how dangerous that thinking is. But
Yeah.
So Microsoft, yeah, $5. $5, is that a lot for Microsoft? It is one of those stocks that are higher priced that doesn't move like some of the other ones out there.
yeah,
Well, let's just say it's moved less than in this aftermarket. It's moved less than 1% right now. It's hanging around
Yeah.
0.8%. So for an after earnings report, I'm sure that options were pricing in probably at least 5 or 6% is what I'm guessing.
Yeah.
So this is
We got
not
about
this move.
we got about 2 minutes to Tesla's release, or at least their time when they're supposed to release. We'll see what comes out.
CCL Carnival, Princess Cruises says voyages on Majestic Princess, Regal Princess, Sapphire Princess, Sea Princess, and Sun Princess depots through the end of October. That's Charlie Lima. That press release now.
Some cruise line releases. Looking like they're gonna pause voyages. Not surprising. So
here's news that's important.
Shares of
Kinder
Carnival
Morgan
getting
is
a little
related
dip here
to
after
Kinder
the close. CCL. AUPH, Aurinia announcing public offering of common shares for Uniform Papa Hotel. AUPH offering with no amount mentioned. That's AUPH, Aurinia.
at 211.72, that keeps
Shares
keeps
of Aurinia
having
dropping
a
here,
magic
15.50
lick
now.
on it.
Closed at 16.66 on that offering announcement. AUPH.
So it's there. It's just under a minute. Hopefully we get some news from Tesla here shortly. I'm waiting for the Benzinga guys. So if you're out there on YouTube, if you wonder why we're being quiet, is we're waiting for Benzinga to talk about Tesla.
Indeed.
So
Indeed. So Microsoft selling off a little bit more here.
Look at those big wicks on Microsoft. That's
Yeah, I know. Yeah, they're pretty ugly. It's like you definitely don't really want to be trading this in the aftermarket. Just
I'm gonna
down a
put a
couple
nice
bucks.
little 211.
CMG, Chipotle Mexican Grill, 40 cents. The estimate was 26 cents. Revenue coming in ahead at 1.4 billion. That's a beat for Charlie Michael Golf, Chipotle Mexican Grill. 40
Really?
cents versus the 26-cent estimate on CMG.
So
It must be on a
CMG
revive.
reported.
Yeah.
Not seeing
Chipotle Mexican Grill says digital sales grew 216.3% and accounted for 60.7% of sales for the quarter. That's CMG. Charlie
Wow.
Michael Golf.
60.7%
Shares though
of
selling off
sales
here
are
sharply,
coming from
1147.72
digital.
on CMG. Closed at 1185.27.
Yeah. It's not moving much, not much volume in it, so I'll go back and pull up
SAVE
Microsoft.
Spirit Airlines reporting a loss of $3.59. Sandy Alpha Victor Echo.
Spirit Airlines reporting a loss. Not surprising.
The estimate was a loss of $2.66 for Spirit, so that's a wider loss than expected for SAVE. Sandy Alpha Victor Echo.
And Tesla's still not reported yet.
Shares of Chipotle now at 1150, down 35.27 from the close on that earnings report.
There's a beat, pretty hefty beat on Chipotle Mexican Grill.
They're down.
Chipotle says had 11 cent per share after tax impact from expenses related to restaurant asset impairment, closure costs, and restructuring.
There you go. See, there's the fine print that's important.
That's CMG.
Master Chief had Chipotle today. Yeah. I might have to get put or Chipotle. I may go with that. I had poke yesterday. Poke. Nothing like some good raw salmon and tuna on top of rice.
I was gonna say, look at that. Yeah, poke bowl.
Chipotle says not providing fiscal 2020 guidance related to comp restaurant sales growth, new openings, and effective full-year tax rate. If comp restaurant sales improvement is seeing continues, the company is seeing continues. Company has confidence and potential to generate positive cash flow for the rest of this year. Says sales in July are up 6.4% month to date. That's Charlie Michael Golf. Chipotle now at $1,151.
So lots of news coming out on Chipotle,
Charlie Michael
on
Golf.
Benzinga, on the Squawk Box. Microsoft's selling off still, down to 205 now. Almost 2%. Microsoft's not that type of stock that moves a lot, as you would, right? Because normally when you're trading these $200, $300 stocks, you're used to the $5, $6, $7 candles that move up and down.
Yeah.
Still waiting on Tesla. That's interesting. Tesla trying to hide something? Or are they waiting for Elon to tweet it out?
Probably waiting for a tweet
to come.
It could be. Mike, I got to
All
gotta
right.
run. So, but
Yeah,
have
me
a good
too.
night. You too.
You too, actually.
You
Yep.
too,
I'm
Peter.
gonna run
Have a
off.
great night. Brian,
I'm
you
gonna take
too.
off. Yeah.
I'll stick
we'll
around here
catch
for
you
a little bit for everybody on YouTube for this Tesla earnings. So you'll just get me here talking for a little bit. But thank you, Peter and Brian, for joining us.
Sounds good. Thanks a lot. Have a good one.
Yep.
Shares of Microsoft now off the lows 205.40, hit a low of 204.52, down about $6 from the close. MSFT. LSTR Landstar reporting 63 cents. LSTR estimate 71 cents for LSTR.
So we'll try that. Make sure that you can hear me. If not, please let me know. Yeah, Jamie, it froze because we had Peter drop off, so I just dropped in a
PLXS
new
Plexus reporting
camera for
$1.20. The
you, so
estimate
that
was
way you
75
got
cents
actual-
for PLXS Papalima X-ray Sandy.
There. Brought in my actual camera, so. So there we go. Still waiting on Tesla to report. Still don't got much. It's a good time for everybody in the room to just kind of sit around.
EDTK Skillful Craftsman Education IPO priced at $5 per share. Echo Delta Kilo
Doing
Tango.
the journal. I know I still got a journal today. Still waiting on it.
With their IPO pricing.
I think Microsoft's going to
Shares
be
of Tesla getting a little
good-
pop here, 1604, then pulling back
will be a good trade
ahead
for
of their
tomorrow.
report.
Or
TSLA.
not necessarily a good trade, but at least be in play, at least in the morning. It's been moving nicely the last couple days.
Tesla now
There we
popping
go.
here. Tesla 1644.
So Tesla popping. Big pop on Tesla. Hey, Edgar, do we all yell surprise when Tesla reports? Yeah, surprise, there it is.
Tesla 1685 now. Tango Sandy Lima Alpha.
Nice pop on Tesla. Did anybody call 200? Somebody, or 2000? Is that what we're looking at for Tesla? Tesla's crazy. I don't know how you can kind of manage your risk. I mean, look at that candle. That's what, $70, $80
Unconfirmed
candle?
Tesla reporting 50 cents.
Tesla's reporting 50 cents and been
Tesla reporting
cut off. Yes, David out there, Tesla did just report. We're waiting on
50 cents versus a loss expected. TSLA not confirmed yet.
so unconfirmed sources have it as a 50 cents. Earnings per share.
50 cents
And they
versus a
were
loss of $2.31. That according to Bloomberg. Free cash flow for
2.71.
Q2 $418 million versus a loss of $617.9 million. Tesla says to begin semi deliveries in 2021. Shanghai first deliveries expected in 2021. That's TSLA Tesla.
Tesla has some
That coming from Bloomberg.
decent reporting news. Still waiting for it to be confirmed, though. The squat guy's not speaking in complete sentences today for us, huh? Not a lot of volume on it either yet. I think it's pretty high priced RP for there to be a lot of volume. I mean, you gotta have some cash to trade it in the aftermarket because you don't get as much buying power as you do during the day.
Shares of Tesla now at $16.30. Up about $38 following that earnings report.
Good thing. Good
Tesla
thing Manny
says
had a bunch of them with
$535
flash.
million increase in our cash and cash equivalents to $8.6 billion. Operating cash flow less capex, $418 million in Q2 for Tesla,
So-
TSLA. Total revenue $6.04 billion versus $6.35 billion reported last year. That now
Should
from
be getting,
Reuters.
Tesla should be popping up here on the news tab for everybody out there.
Non-GAAP
on
earnings of
YouTube.
$2.18.
Getting a lot of squat guy talking to us about Tesla, so it should be popping up there. After we get that pop up there, we'll after it populates on there, I'll say bye and I'll get to my
Shares of
journaling
Tesla
before
now at
tonight's webinar.
$16.50. says Tesla says quarterly profit improved sequentially due to fundamental operational improvements.
Yeah, still not.
Tesla
posting
says
out
production output of our existing facilities continues to meet demand.
there. Great comment, T-Bone. The squat guy's Super Bowl right now. He's in the zone. He's going.
Tesla says it remains difficult to predict whether there will be further operational interruptions or how global consumer sentiment will evolve in H2.
Tesla looks like it's given up everything. I think some of the press releases getting at some of the shareholders, and Stefan, I think you're right
Tesla
there.
now
He buys
pulling
Tesla
back
for
a bit
50 cents
from
earning
that
per
initial
share.
spike. 1610 now.
So with that, it is getting kind of late. It's at 1:20. So gonna say bye to everybody on YouTube. Thank you for
Tesla
joining
says
us
have the
today.
capacity installed to exceed
Thanks for
500,000
watching.
vehicle
Please,
deliveries this year, despite
subscribe,
recent
like, and
production
share if you
disruptions.
enjoyed it. We'll be back tomorrow with some more Closing Bell show and some after hours earnings. So thank you everybody for joining us. Have a wonderful afternoon.